Great shot. Great shot.
I materialized the time capsule exactly around you and saved your life 1 second before your ship exploded, but do please keep crying.
My brother just died.
His sister didn't. You're very welcome. Put the gun down. Not like that. Not like that. Get it right.
Will you take me back to my ship?
Please.
Please?
I'm loving the score already here.
A molecular nanoscaler.
You know what it does then?
It miniaturizes living matter.
Whoa.
It's a medical application, though. Do you use it to shrink the surgeon so they can climb inside the patients?
Exactly.
Fantastic idea for a movie. Terrible idea for a proctologist.
And this is your patient.
Whoa. Dalek.
No, you don't understand. You can't put me in there.
Hey. Okay.
Have you ever killed anyone who wasn't a soldier?
Oh, that got him. That got him.
You've not met Danny Pink yet.
Danny
New
Pink.
fella, Mass. Danny.
Ah, is this a love interest?
Are you going to the leaving thing tonight for Kathy?
I wasn't going, but I am now because you're going to be there and suddenly it seems like the best idea ever. No, I'm not.
Ah.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Change your mind.
Excuse me?
I'm going. I'll give you a lift. Why not?
Actually, now that you mention it, seems like the best.
No.
plan ever, thank you. No, I've got some reading.
Life outside of the TARDIS. I like it. Oh, look at that. A red door. Usually it's a blue one, isn't it?
Where the hell have you been?
You sent me for coffee.
3 weeks ago. In Glasgow.
3 weeks, that's a long time. You're not a young woman anymore.
Yes, I am.
Well, you don't look it.
I do look it.
Oh, that's right. Keep your spirits up. Clara, 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 Clara.
What is it? What's...
I love the dynamic camera movement here.
I'm terrified. The answer to my next question, which must be honest, cold, and considered, without kindness or restraint. Clara, be my pal. Tell me, am I a good man?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
Daleks must be destroyed.
Oh.
Daleks must be
Yeah. About that.
What did you just say?
A good Dalek.
There's no such thing.
That's a bit inflexible. Not like you. I'd almost say prejudice.
Do I pay you? I should give you a raise.
You're not my boss. You're one of my hobbies.
Come on. This is Clara, not my assistant. She's some other word.
I'm his carer.
Yeah, my carer. She can, so I don't have to.
What do we do with a moral Dalek then?
We get into its head.
How do you get into a Dalek's
Oh.
That wasn't a metaphor.
Yeah, literally.
Nanoscaling successful. Everyone okay in there?
We made it.
Wow.
No, neither can I.
Yeah. That's a great shot. Oh, this is about to be some trip.
You've seen nothing yet.
Whoa.
What are the lights?
Visual impulses. Traveling towards the brain. Spare power set, but I can track the radiation signature. I need to know where they dumped the bodies.
I thought you were saving him.
He was dead already. I was saving us.
Whoa.
And run!
He's loving it.
What
Goober.
is this stuff?
People. Daleks need protein.
Is Ross here?
Yeah. Top layer if you want to say a few words.
A man has just died. You will not talk like that.
A lot of people have died. It's a bit narrow, isn't it?
Any remarks about my hips will not be appreciated.
Your hips are fine. You're built like a man.
Thanks.
She's really not.
Good question, Rusty. What changed you?
I saw beauty.
You saw what? So you saw a star being born, and you learned something. Oh, Dalek, do not be lying to me. We're at the heart of the Dalek.
Oh.
It's incredible.
Geiger counter's off the scale. Looks like it's about to blow.
Now then, let's see.
Job done.
That's it, just like that.
An anticlimax once in a while is good for my heart. Rusty!
Weapons charged.
Oh, no.
Exterminate.
You see?
Is he what?
Daleks don't turn good. It's just radiation affecting its brain
Ah,
chemistry.
okay.
Nothing more than that. No miracle.
Let me get this straight. We had a good Dalek and we made it bad again. That's all we've done.
There was never a good Dalek. There was a broken Dalek when we repaired it. What's that look for?
It's the look you get when I'm about to slap you.
Oof.
We're gonna die in here. And there is a little bit of you that's pleased. The Daleks are evil after all. Everything makes sense. The Doctor is right.
That's what we just learned.
No, Doctor, that is not what we just learned.
Are you out of your mind?
No, I'm inside a Dalek. I'm standing where I've never been. We cannot waste this chance. It won't come again.
What chance?
Cool. Yes.
It became good. That means a good Dalek is possible. That's what we learned today. Am I right, Teach?
Top of the class.
But now it's back to how it was.
But what it saw, what it felt, still there. We need to show the Dalek that star being born again. Recreate that moment. You need to get up there, find that moment, and reawaken it.
Ooh, her.
Yes, you. Good idea. Having the foggiest. Do clever things.
Is he mad or is he right? I've come this far.
A bit of both.
Probably gonna die anyway. Wouldn't mind something to do for the rest of my life. Is he mad or is he right?
Hand on my heart. Most days he's both.
Oh.
Hello. I'm Missy.
Oh.
Welcome to heaven. Would you like some tea? Little splash. Lovely.
Okay, Missy.
I saved your life, Rusty. Now I'm gonna go one better. I'm gonna save your soul.
Daleks do not have souls.
Oh no. Well, imagine if you did.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm in the cortex.
I'm part of you. My mind is in your mind.
Wow.
I see your mind, Doctor. I see your universe.
Psychic link?
And isn't the universe beautiful?
I see beauty. I see into your soul, Doctor. I see beauty. I see divinity. I see hatred.
Hatred.
I see your hatred of the Daleks, and it
Backfired.
is good.
There must be more than that.
This imagery,
To
though.
the Daleks. Death to the Daleks. Victory is yours, but it does not please you.
You looked inside me and you saw hatred. That's not victory. Victory would have been a good Dalek.
I am not a good Dalek. You are a good Dalek.
How do I look?
Beautiful.
Sort of short and roundish, but with a good personality, which is the main thing.
I meant my clothes, I just changed.
Oh, good for you. Still making an effort. Okay.
I don't know.
I'm sorry?
You asked me if you were a good man, and the answer is, I don't know. But I think you tried to be, and I think that's probably the point.
I think you're probably an amazing teacher.
She makes me smiley. Every single time.
Ah, hey.
Hey! Danny!
Change?
Have you changed your clothes? I thought you might have a rule against soldiers.
No? No, not at all. Not me.
Yeah. Okay, so finally, it's essentially back to business as usual, right? After a run of a bunch of specials, right? A lot of really important episodes. You've got the name of the Doctor, right? Then you've got the night of the Doctor, even. You know, I have to give that episode its credit, that mini episode or, you know, prequel. But then you go into the day of the Doctor, and then the time of the Doctor, and then, of course, Deep Breath, the introduction to the new Doctor proper, right? And that's like a feature-length episode as well, and there's a lot of different things at play. But this here, it certainly had that distinct feeling of, okay, let's strap in. It's a Peter Capaldi era. You know, now it's finally actually into it. Again, business as usual. And, you know, it's interesting that the Dalek story for this new Doctor happened in the second episode. And a lot of the elements of this episode are reminiscent of Eccleston's first Dalek episode, titled Dalek. And, you know, there's a continuation, right? You go all the way back to Series 1, and now you have Series 8. I believe the line there, the line of dialogue, the really poignant moment, that really strikes, that really cuts deep, doesn't it? The Dalek tells Eccleston's Doctor, the 9th Doctor, you would make a good Dalek. All this time later, you are a good Dalek. Oof. Imagine hearing that, especially in this state of mind, you know, in this moment of insecurity. He really is quite open about his insecurities, and you see that he has a lot of trust in Clara and, you know, kind of being open about these insecurities of his. I mean, this episode made it so clear that he needs Clara. He does, right? Certainly doesn't need another soldier on board. You know, you don't need two of them on the TARDIS. You know, I thought it was a great moment. You know, his approach to, or approach with Journey Blue, right? Given how it all kind of starts in the beginning of the episode and throughout the episode. Yeah, you know, a soldier is not the type of person he needs on board at the moment. Someone who follows orders. No. You know, the thing is, you know, he just recently kind of got over the whole, you know, Time War situation and the War Doctor situation. He just recently reconciled, right? But then he ends up having the whole Trenzalore situation, right? Hundreds of years, centuries of more war. So, you know, there's a lot of baggage. There's a lot of baggage there at the moment. And, you know, I love this. I've got to say, you know, I'm loving this aspect of it. You know, this introspection. There's self-doubt there. And he's so open about it. You know, it's clearly a case of that mask slipping, that facade just kind of disappearing. As they kind of indicated in the last episode, in Deep Breath. At this point in time, he just simply does not care about people liking him. He does not care about fitting in, right? He doesn't care about being, you know, perceived as a young, attractive person anymore, as of this point, at least. And I love that. You know, there's a much darker tone about this. There is. And, you know, Capaldi, I think, has already made the role his own. I mean, his take on it so far feels raw and unique. And of course, unique also in the sense that he himself is a unique individual, Peter Capaldi. You know, the look, the delivery of the dialogue. And he's given a lot of fantastic stuff here. But yeah, he's right in thinking that Clara is the person he needs. More than ever, actually. You know, this is a person who challenges him. This is a person who's going to be integral in potentially realigning his sense of humanity. You know, someone who is truthful, but also, you know, someone who is still a bit unsure about the new Doctor. Because I still think there is merit to that notion of her actually not knowing the Doctor anymore, right? She's not completely sold on him just yet, right? It's completely new to her as well. So again, you know, she does kind of function as a great audience surrogate, because I'm sure a lot of the audience at this point in time, as it is airing or was airing, they have their concerns and, you know, some hesitation perhaps about the new actor portraying the Doctor. So I can totally see that approach being quite effective. But, you know, I'll be honest, I've been excited about Capaldi. I've actually been excited about all the actors, right? There's always this sense of, okay, I'm excited about this, you know, I'm in the Tenet run, but in the back of my mind, it's always like, okay, Matt Smith, man, how's he going to be? And during Matt Smith's era, I was always like, yes, Matt Smith, I love this dude. He's the homie. But then in the back of my mind, I was like, oh man, Capaldi, how's Capaldi going to be? And I've got to say, Capaldi, is really, really quite fascinating so far. You see that this doctor doesn't really like to sugarcoat things, right? He's a grumpy doctor. You know, there's a lot of, you know, ruthless and cold disposition on display. Another thing about this doctor is that, you know, he's a realist, isn't he? Right? He doesn't really cry over spilt milk. And I know it sounds kind of harsh and kind of dark to say that about death. And I'm speaking of Ross's death, the soldier, the actor from Game of Thrones as Ed. Always lovely to see familiar faces. But, you know, the moment he realized, okay, he can't be saved, past doctors like Tennant or Matt Smith's doctor, I think their approach would have been different. But this doctor, no. He's really quite cold and pragmatic, and he uses that chance. And in terms of Capaldi and his look, I think his facial structure and his expressions really lend to this depiction of the doctor. He's got some striking facial features, doesn't he? And, you know, the camera just loves him. I think he has such a great screen presence. You know, he's got a striking look. He does. And he can just be standing there and you're drawn to him. You know, it kind of just pulls you in. That's my opinion on it, or that's my take on it so far. You know, he's got a gripping presence about him. And I think his physical look certainly plays a part. You know, a lot of the great moments of this episode are just him reacting to things, his expressions, more so than ever before. At this point, you know, he's really quite real about the situation around him. You know, if people are going to die and he's not able to save them, and that's how it appears, he's not going to be torn over it, right? He's just accepting it and moving on accordingly after that situation. So yeah, it's a different take on the doctor. It really is. And, you know, perhaps this has something to do with the fact that indeed it is a brand new cycle, right? He was gifted a brand new cycle. He was supposed to be the last. So now it really feels like someone who's trying to find themselves, someone who is trying to, you know, understand themselves. And if they are a good person, you know, I feel like that might be the thematic core of this season, perhaps, or at least one part of it. You know, am I a good person? I mean, you know, Clara believes he certainly tries to be, and he does. He tries to be. And I think it's completely understandable if Clara is still a bit standoffish about this new doctor and his new personality and his new approach, because the doctor himself doesn't even know himself yet, right? There's a lot of self-doubt, and it feels like it is going to continue throughout this season or this series. And it'll be interesting to see how this Missy figure kind of plays a part in all of this. I'm sure she is going to be playing a part. Someone who appears to be this angel of death. You know, that's 2 episodes in a row now. People that died because of the doctor, perhaps, or because of the influence of the doctor, or are influenced by the doctor before they kind of end up dying. So that's 2 of them that have shown up in that place now, right? Certainly a depiction of the afterlife, for sure, but I'm sure it's not as simple as just the afterlife. This Missy character. I thought it was a great exploration into the expansion of one's moral consciousness, right? And also the capability for change. And, you know, the concept of a good man is certainly different from looking like a good man or appearing to be a good man. You see that this doctor really is quite you know, concerned about actually being a good man rather than appearing to be a good man. But this doctor really does not care about perception, the looks of it all. He cares about actually being that person and actually questioning if he is that type of person, if he is a good person, a good man. And, you know, the concept of a good man has been brought up a few times in this show. You know, really recently, A Good Man Goes to War. And another thing it's really leaning into here is his dislike for soldiers. And I'm sure, you know, the fact that Danny Pink, Clara's new love interest, from the looks of it, is also a soldier or a former soldier who seems to have a bit of PTSD from the looks of it. I mean, he clearly struggles with the things he's done in the past or had to do as a soldier. But yeah, you know, clearly there's there's going to be friction, right? You see the setup is there for that reason, because they are going to meet at some point, and once the Doctor finds out that this man used to be a soldier, he's going to be spiky towards him. And then of course there's the whole school teacher aspect to this, Clara and her life outside of the TARDIS, outside of the Doctor. This is more of a part-time companion rather than some of the more full-time companions I suppose I've seen. Though by the end of Rory and Amy's run, they also kind of became part-time as they started to realize, okay, maybe it's time to settle down now, certain things are simply not possible on the TARDIS. If you are kind of like a full-time companion. The one thing it's made clear since the beginning is that no one really should be a companion forever for the rest of their lives, right? And of course, different companions have a different approach to all of it. But you see that, giving Clara's character this approach gives us a chance for a different type of performance space for Jenna Coleman, right? This episode specifically really shows us a different Clara. It really does. And I'm really, really enjoying this. And this is the thing I was hoping for. And, also for once, it feels like the love interest for one of the companions isn't a certain type of mold or in a certain type of mold. You think of Mickey, you think of Rory, right? But you see this man, Danny Pink, he's really quite impressive, at least physically. You see a lot of people see that he's an attractive person, right? You see that other, other teacher, a bit of a fun moment. She's going on about how, yeah, I bet you did. Anything he'll say. And she's like, I bet you did. There's this preconceived notion about that type of individual or someone who looks like that, right? Reading a book by its cover, essentially. You see a lot of that going on here. And I think maybe through this character of Danny Pink, it'll kind of, go into that. Being perceived for your looks or, your past and the things you did in the past. There's a lot of fun moments there, him kind of looking back at how he could have responded rather than how he did end up responding. And a lot of us have been in that situation. I think everyone's been in that situation, right? You think and you hope that you can be cool under pressure, and then that's a response you should be giving. But, you end up kind of choking sometimes, right? And then later, exactly the thing you should have said. And he's kind of, beating himself up over it. And also, I think this part-time approach to Clara as a companion, it's a perfect fit because as of this point in time, this new Doctor needs time to himself. He needs a lot of introspection. He needs a lot of different experiences on his own, right? Finding himself. So I think it's perfect. It's a perfect approach to Clara and the Doctor and this companion dynamic. Doctor companion dynamic. And then of course, from a production standpoint, I think the directing continues to be great. Ben, who is a film director, 2 episodes in a row now, and you see his hands all over this. So I'm not sure how many more episodes he is going to be a part of, but I certainly hope he comes in for a few more. And of course, it's quite a unique approach to a Dalek, right? Going into the darkness, going inside the Dalek. And I've got to say, almost always, a single Dalek is much more intriguing than a fleet of Daleks, And you see that here, once again, a full-on attack is kind of almost brushed aside by the end of it. But, the actual look of it and the actual, production design of going into a Dalek, I thought that was just fantastic. I really enjoyed that. It really had this retro sci-fi tone, didn't it? And even the score itself felt quite retro at times. And it's really quite noticeable. Like I mentioned, I'm really already digging the score, the new direction for some of the score. There's some really iconic moments, a lot of visually striking moments. The initial entrance into the Dalek through the eye, really reminiscent of the Abyss. I love the imagery there. And then, of course, this industrial, cold buildup of a Dalek. I felt that the set design certainly sold it as well, that they are inside of a Dalek. But yeah, him being around soldiers in this one is really, really quite interesting, isn't it? A lot of great dialogue, a lot of it. Dry your eyes, Journey Blue. That's for civilians. That's how they communicate with the likes of you, right? And then at one point she asked him, you don't really like soldiers, do you? And then he said something like, you don't need to be liked. You're holding the guns, right? I think there was a really similar line of dialogue a few episodes ago. Not a few episodes ago, a few series ago. Maybe series 6. But yeah, I think that's about it for this one, folks. I really get to see the new Doctor on display and his disposition on display. There's a lot to kind of be excited about, to be fascinated about through Peter Capaldi's depiction of this new Doctor. She cares, so I don't have to. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of destructive indulgence as well that she kind of has to slap him out of at one point. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments, give me your thoughts. If you are interested in early access or perhaps even full length, timer-based full length, of course, folks. If you are interested, check out the links in the description and the pinned comment. Also links to social media. Right then, thank you so much for joining me, folks, and thank you for your time, because time is precious. It really is. And I do hope to see you again soon for episode 3. Until then, take it easy.